Yoru was that supplementary initiator type duelist player, or whether it was going to be a Phoenix. Phoenix is a lot more up close and personal, but as I've already alluded to, there are lots of good ways to find value from him on this map, and as you have as well, in terms of set strategy, set pieces, I'm not too sure what we see get pulled out by the teams here. Again, they're not going to want to exhaust their playbook, but since they're against familiar opposition, there's definitely a credibility to do so.
I mean, 100%, and it's also you think towards the ultimates and how you take space off the back of them. You've always got that kind of, I guess, temporary life from the Phoenix, and then as for the Euro, you've essentially got a walking owl drone as well, so there's different aspects to what you're going to be able to do, but the key aspect for me is what's being taken outside of the duelist department, both teams picking up that cypher and picking up the ult.
G2 with the Phoenix pick will be on the attack first, and A main is where they begin their assault. Very quickly though, the pace does change on the drop of a pin.
Aware that Cypher could be here, especially while the Ray's been picked up, being able to destroy that utility. The players break out. Nice. Clear engagement being taken, and it's firing with the fuck. The iconic Smurfette Jet being introduced, and Amy taking that advantage. There's no chance Smurfette. God, it's been flanked. But no, Spike goes down easy enough. 3 versus 4, but the retake is swift. Smurfette straight from heaven, water falling down, but the players will fall in a similar fashion. One at a time they're put to rest. Petra finding 3 of those to give G2 their first. I think as well has set the map that you put fundamentals for a team under a magnifying glass, and you think towards what G2 have at the very core, it's going to be those fundamentals. It's going to be playing off one another, and that's exactly what you see at the very beginning on the pistol.
Also the first pistol round that G2 have picked up so far, and with the previous result being 13-11, the difference of 2, it can make all of the difference.
I mean, massive. Just going to quick tech pause just now while we get our map underway, but I guess we've got so much to talk about the storylines between these two that we can start to bite our teeth into.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I've already mentioned and fleshed it out a bit, you have that core of Ness and Smurfette going up against Petra and Mimi, the current G2 Girls and players versus those of Guilds that we've seen previously and other organisations. It feels like the pieces that Jolina has had to work with really all do sort of figure themselves out. They were both at foot at a point in time as well, and more recently, you've got names coming in like Miori from Na'Vi Celestials. She was right on the cusp of breaking that mould and making herself a top contender, but at the same time, when we were in what felt like a 3-horse race, they just couldn't quite pit any of the others to the post.
Already the footsteps being heard out on B main, and Miori trying to get at least one. Gatecrash out position for sight if they're able to do so. That's if, but to me, these G2 look to head elsewhere.
Just playing a full retake towards the A side of the map. Giant X, the game plan is a heavy stack on the left-hand side. You can already see that G2 doing their due diligence, clearing for the information the cam is placed, and typically where someone will be getting that audio cue, there's no information to go with it, and Ness only just back into the cam now is starting to get a semblance of what is going on, but not before it's too late.
Yeah. I mean, next to no utility being extended by G2, I mean, sure we've seen some blast packs and some dashes, but that's about the all that's being used has it. Got to think what's still in the pocket for this post.
Giants able to get into position very quickly here. G2 still with enough to set up their post plan, and you can see them trying to go on the offensive towards heaven. Amy has first contact, and there is a flash ready to go.
Yeah, already, look at that. The trigger being pressed as well. I've got to be pulled. I mean, that's just at the end of the day. Giant X have had no chances. They're going to be swinging out in towards the trip as well. The spam's perfect. The round is perfect from G2. Yeah, we're going to be going towards the next one too.
Very well set up by G2 there. Understanding how the Phoenix flashes work as well, how you can find ways to bend them around the curvature of the map, like you say, to set things up. Next will be going down to the spike. So, yeah, damage dealt for what it's worth.
Yes, I think getting ultimate orbs that potentially there to be picked up. As you see, how many times have you seen that flash being used by Q to set someone up? So again, you're seeing that implementation of a Phoenix, which again, has multiple variations to do the same flashes that a normal Q would do.
Again, though, it's that more intimate positioning that is required to really relieve anything off the back of it, find similar levels of profit. First excursion towards middle made by V2. Jelena, quick on the uptake of the reaction. Is there? Both Paranoia's played.
Oh, and it's fine to get things going, but that's the one that Bagsik used. That's the ultimate of the team being execution. See it again. Oh, it's unreal. It's gorgeous. It's down to 2v2. It's forced their way back into that one. For GX to flare.
Only UK player in the server walking the walk on home soil. Ness already posturing the back lines and confirming to her teammate Miori that there is nothing left of this push. They now sit within the site, the cam clears it, and the wall will only prolong this affair. There's not much utility left to be spoken of for either team.
Another flash from Vania. Set player up next, showing the presence in call-out. The flash is being taken by either side of the hand. His hand is actually just being seen by Miori. Unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for GX, the fights do not go their way. G2 isolate perfectly and convert the bonus rounds.
It's hard to tell what G2 were playing around with there, but one thing that we can confirm is that the hot hands that we saw, great staggering the push, Flash came in at just the right time to counter the utility which Miori was putting out. And G2 have converted to bonus round now, are in particularly good stead on this map. The question we have to pose, Kyle, is how far have the goalposts moved in terms of side favourability? Because this is typically slightly more towards defenders when we go from that extent, because 5 would be an attacking map, but it was an 8-4 half the opposite way.
I mean, that's the thing you've got to be thinking about for this round. More specifically, is Giant X already on the flank. G2 are
early pro, that is what G2 elects to go for. Utility from them so far has been pretty resolute in stopping things from expanding any further, and they do. Kills GX, now battle in the hands of Miori, but the Q taken perhaps a moment too soon, wide of the dice box, and won't be coming up clutch this time.
Yeah, I mean, you like the idea. G2 see the 3 players that are on the flank and immediately try to hit the weaker side of the map, which was the side. Forced them to do so, and you respected the play at the end of the day. And it just came down to the gunfights, and unfortunately for that, G2 are just so good at swiveling off one another.
It's a maiden open play for Smurfette. Her calling card usually comes through the most expensive gun in the game.
G2 prioritising those ultimate orbs, trying to get Vania on towards another back.
Smurfette will be in close proximity on this push, and she's already found the first of the heads, meaning another of the most experienced left, and G2's got to rely on their laurels that this push can come to apply.
You're quite thinking that Cypher setup is still online here for Giant X.
You're going to struggle to backtrack any further towards main once that was said and done, cycling down, maybe been caught off guard there, but instead, it's Ness.
Has arranged to be able to take them all, Vania as well. It's just so crazy. G2, when you think they're in a bad spot, they're able to fight their way out of it. GX almost in a perfect position, still holding on though. And I think at that point, it's resignation handed in for this round anyway. He's going to back off and see if that's right.
Sarah has looked white hot so far in this map, in this series, but on the control of this side, a lot more comfort for her than not. G2 locking in their 5th round. I thought that maybe Smurfette could make the difference, but apart from that first kill into the retake is where they struggled.
I mean, that's the thing with the cypher setup still there. I'm thinking it's still going to be able to go any further. But G2 respect the setup, but not only that, I think the biggest detriment to Giant X is having counter-strike so early.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the retake, it's the first sort of call in terms of utility that you're going to be looking towards in that kind of situation. It's interesting even to mention the cypher on the GX side of things. It's not a nation that they previously played with. Miori is well known for being more a killjoy player than not. Viper is where she flexes in terms of anchoring utility. We've even seen Chamber pulled out more than we have for the cypher right now. So another timeout being called now, a chance to really set up the rest of this half, because Valorant gets this far too far out of control. G2 learned that lesson the hard way in the first one.
Yeah, they gave it to GX, and while they've had good ideas on what they want to do, at the same time, they've got to have not I don't want to call this how bad that last round went.
This one comes with two aspects to it. It's a momentum blocker for G2, it's keys in the ignition for GX. They need to get themselves going. As I said, it's a couple minutes in the car and you'll be straight at the front doorstep of their facility. They have all the home comforts that they could ask for in an environment like this. And again, I think you could certainly see that coming into the first map, but now G2 have brought them into their own sparring grounds where they feel best equipped. And Petra on the prowl, first of many players spotted on the other side of that camp. By himself as well.
Tails off the back of it. Next completely taken off. Second taken for free.
Next has landed the shots as well, leading to Sarah, answering that from the shadows. So an ultimate round on the lesson over saying you're exactly.
Oh, you can see ready to try and tee up someone as the retake tries to come through. GX was so hard to three players ready to make this team. It's the last mistake you'll ever make by not clearing her. And out from logs comes the Lumberjack, cuts them down 6-0. Seeing as the way that G2 immediately come up with the plans of what they want to do, given the time is given by GX to do so, there wasn't any flaws. GX wanted to set themselves up correctly, and even the sort of paranoia come in, like a couple of seconds before GX even got out onto the site. A little bit of disconnect there.
It doesn't feel like G2 have had to complicate this or anything until, you know, a pending rematch in stage 2. It's not going to have too many takeaways from this, despite what was said by Petra. You know, if it works well, maybe we'll try to stuff over, but for now, there's a case to be made. But just about putting into life itself.
GX off the wall, off the back of that. Still utility to get back in, you're looking towards that rage build, it's still there for Giant X.
You're on the sat somewhere. When is enough? Sarah gone. Angelina here on the site. Nest quickly following suit. So round 7 for G2. That's the advantage on the half and shore. While we see the perhaps requirements, it's the kind of expense that you have to write off.
It's incredible how quickly the map can change, the series can develop. G2 in such a powerful driving scene. This is after GX have already timed out. Smurfette Blaze to pose a different issue in terms of the firepower on the Thrifty. But generally, when you look at the ultimate game, Giant X don't have anything that couldn't be round winning.
I mean, since Vanya burst onto the scene, everyone knew her to be an incredibly mechanically gifted player, but maybe we've got the wrong person on duel list for G2 in their officials, because she's looked so clean so far, 11-2 as it stands, but revealed by the spy cam, little information trickling its way back through. GX were proactive at the start, and they're not really rewarded for it. Miori down, and the blades of Petra instead the ones which find most value.
It looks like, for a second you're thinking it could be an ace for Petra. Not the case. Again, has that aspect of the ultimates that you're seeing being invested in little to no value at the end. G2 that just overpowering them on every front when it comes to that firepower, especially in the duelist department.
Yeah, and just looking again at the server, we have to remind you, Giant X, it's a Turkish core, but it's interesting to mention, Mimi perhaps knows her opponent well. The first time that she was on an international roster was with Besiktas back in 2019, before she made the jump to Valorant. So there's a decade of experience in dealing with the threat in front of them here. Just another day in the office. Vanya the same. Petra with her. And those are all the openers you could ask for.
They make it look so easy. Miori not even anticipating where Petra's dashes went. Still keeping that advantage. Sure, there's a showstopper for Jolina. Instead, they're just going to dry swing out towards Marcus. Petra's lying in wait. Look at this.
Spike planted.
The blast pack does throw her off balance just a little bit, though. And that now sits Jolina in a familiar situation. That feeling of being in a clutch scenario, boom for early info. That will confirm Amy's position, and sure, well, it doesn't deal any damage. It all circles back to her. A high rocket, which does deal the damage, but not before she finds the kill.
Yeah, but the key word though has is value, value, value. Like, there's no value at the other end of it. Fair enough, they use it to try and get back in. And that 2v1, but all it is good for is one kill post-mortem. And G2's already won the round, they're on 9, looking to make 10. Giant X, their economy being on this defensive side has been absolutely torn apart.
Woeful. You just go from round to round, wondering when you're going to stumble upon that next bit of luck, and well, they may have come close. It doesn't quite cut it. Variation of that push that you were talking about from the defender's side. Mid has been a given for them in a few of these rounds, but when G2 fight back, they win.
G2 have gone investigating. The shots are not looking good at all for GX. Smurfette trying to peek in as well, at least come out with something positive. And there's nothing but G2 in the kill feed. This Phoenix has been so good, and it continues to be so.
So damn good from G2, and even while Jolina can get a single kill, she is collected at the cost of it. 1 versus 4 for Ness. How do we feel about this one? With a door in her face, I think that's pretty symbolic. Symptomatic? Look, we're making up words as we are making up formats.
Yeah, G2 just keep making up rounds on a whim, just already on 10. Snap of your fingers and before you know it could be 12, has it? And perhaps we could be looking at the map already being done.
Yeah, I mean, then the biggest question for me is if we do see this one as a write-off and we head to a third, how far off the pace are GX? Because we've seen them play in series against G2 before, we've seen them test them, but never really take that next step. Yeah. We thought that this was the chance, and coming out of that first map, it certainly seemed to be the case. Slow start, and all of it is just to get Smurfette on the angle, one which she gives up.
Change of pace. Make Giant X think about what's going on, and it looks like it's going to be a fake towards the A side of the map, and they can do that. It's the run it back. This is for free, Hazard, and they're giving away so many, I guess, fake information.
Oh, it's a fake, but then a double down. Rescue is up close and personal. There's a showstopper in her pocket, but doesn't need it in this situation. Happy to give over the rifle at the cost of 2 kills. An advantage for G2. They've read the map well. They've gutted it at the center. Rolled out the red carpet for a B plant.
And GX have to re-clear everything on their way back, though. G2 have taken so much space and they're holding in really awkward positions. Vania, for instance, down in deep mid.
Yeah, with the amount of space that they've lost now, GX have so much left to clear. Vania could be the backstab, which makes it 11 and effectively closes out the half because there's no cash in pocket. They are falling apart at the seams with G2 holding the scissors.
I mean, this is the thing. The only misstep that G2 did in the round was actually a TP from Amy all the way towards A main to double down on what was already a successful take of the site. This has been a waltz for G2 so far.
And as soon as I said that GX were maybe out of it in this last round, they have responded with a buy and 3 ultimates to go with it. You have Miori's Dimensional Drift, and something I can say so far is we've you've not seen the maximum value of this Yoru pick. If you're heading into a retake with it available and the neural theft, it has to be a priority.
Yeah, it does. I mean, especially you've got to be thinking about what value, again, that word coming back through that we're actually going to see from Giant X. The showstopper in and Jolina already taken out. We're seeing Giant X trying to suffocate G2's taking the site by taking away the space in mid, make sure that there's no late flanks. Spike will go down easy enough, and advantage being taken is still for G2.
Fiori gets one, but the information is almost preemptive. The battering ram comes through, but the door was already open. G2 invited the aggression, and in that fashion, they will be taking the final one of the half. So 12-0 is the scoreline that this one wraps up with.
Yeah, time out as well, just to sit and talk about what that was. I mean, what else can you do, Hazard?
They don't exactly look dissuaded. Yeah. There are still smiles on the face, and I think you've got to be. And look, we get confirmation here as well. It is G2 that bring it through, and perhaps that is the reason for a couple of the grins on the Giant X side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that Meg was talking about, that seems as if the girls are really enjoying being down in London, you know, and really having a time like just to kind of sit and chill out and actually just enjoy themselves before they go into this next split of Game Changers.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, I feel as if it's almost a little more sadistic in this sense. Yeah. You've called a pause after a half like that. In many ways, it feels like G2 are standing over a lifeless body of a Giant X side.
There's the Simpsons clip.
Stop. He's already dead. Yeah. But look, life in them yet. GX, I don't want to exactly say that they're going to find 12 rounds in a row, but there's at least 12 or more to play by the time we reach that decider.
What was it I said to you when you walked into Fnatic?
Fnatic Watch Party, they would be the most generational comeback you've seen. And what was it?
No, it was a generational throw that we're about to see from Koi. And I mean, if that was the case, it would be a generational throw from G2 if they lost at this point.
See, you've chalked it. You've not really committed. You're sitting on the fence here. I've got to know, is there something in the Red Bull, perhaps?
No, not a call. No, definitely not Hazard.
No, that you don't think there's a chance? Something in the water would be a better way to say it.
I mean, we'll see after the pistol round, but the odds are very much in G2's favour.
Okay. I think that does go without saying. But as you say, this is the Hunger Games, not everyone will survive. And right now, Giant X are offering themselves tribute.
Well, I mean, G2, they've respected everything that Giant X have done.
Yeah, they've given them the site, so that's a start. The spike will be going down. It's a 5 versus 5. How much longer will we see those players left standing? It may not be for long.
Definitely not. They've not cleared in towards logs though, so there's at least a trade back in this aspect, and they've still not cleared out Miori, which allows Giant X just to trade off one another. Up to Mimi, and while they've been good before, it won't be for the pistol.
Can't quite cut it, and can't quite close it, G2, so the 13-0 sorrowful scoreline has narrowly been avoided by Giant X. The bare minimum being done. How much further do they take this now? I think if you're G2, you want to min-max it. Absolutely no reason to put pistols on payroll here and just wait a moment longer for your chance to cross that ticker tape to a third and deciding map.
By the way, I mean, the only thing that GX can do is win every round that's in front of them, so they're off to a good start here.
All classics. Something to mention that both of these teams do have their bundles, as do Karmine Core. So I'm wondering if we're going to get, any added value from that. And, for Yinsu's sake, I hope that if she does interview any of the players, that she can get a proper answer out of them, and it's not just another plug to go and buy the in-game skins.
Yeah. Again, though, an easy site for GX to get the spike down. Little to no util as well. It now has it all about the site hold, how they trade off one another. And I think G2 are just enjoying themselves here. I think they're going to die to the spike.
It's a party on short, and I don't think we've got the invitation. It's all G2 showing off the sprays, showing off the classic, and the social media manager is loving it. Vanya here with some utility. Okay, yeah, sure, man. I don't think it really matters. They're going to be walking into trouble, though. This could be quite a few ultimate orbs tossed over, but for who? 2 rifles taken. And the rest should just go with it. Yeah, you know what? They say, we don't care. I don't play Phantom, I play Vandal. I'll be walking my way to the shop to make a purchase of my own.
Yeah, GX have absolutely gifted them as a way to punish themselves. I can't believe that they've given that to G2. And yeah, I mean that's big pieces being lost off the board.
You expect one of those lanes to be overloaded.
Yeah.
You just have to play that guessing game. And like you say, look, 2 kills may not go too much in the way of changing the dynamic of this game, but you've got to look at the fact GIANTx have 2 rounds. It's only going to take a quick minute 40 seconds, and G2 with the possibility of seeing us through onto that decider. Yeah,
this time it's G2 not playing as 5 at one point of the map, at one lane, and it's just Rescue playing by themselves almost. Vania getting in on this one as well. As it's now up to the 2 remaining out on B main. They've not got a chance, they've not got a look in with those traps just waiting.
All the G2 need is a gun in their hands, and GIANTx backed into the corner now are up against it in every sense. They need to dig themselves out of trouble, and while Ness may have started that, she has also swiftly, in effect, stopped it because it's given Rescue the opportunity to get in behind once again. Paranoia in her own face, blinded up. Sarah here is going to struggle to do much more from the corner. 2 kills, all she takes. 2 rounds for GIANTx. It is 13 on G2's side as they take us to the 3rd and final map.
What did I say at the end of Bind there, Hazza? I said that G2 were starting to warm in towards this one, and that